Hello, everyone. I'm going to give it just a couple minutes for some people to show, but today we are going to talk about how to make an emergency heater if your power goes out. And I know we're all mostly in summer right now, but this is just something to keep in your mind when winter does come. So, hi, Marco. How are you? How was work today? Good, I hope. Be ready. How are you doing? I hope everything is good today and you finally got your snacks. Hey, VP, how are you doing? Okay, so can everyone hear me and see me okay? And I have the green screen going. What do y'all think? I figured it would be appropriate to have lightning behind me since we're going to talk about if the power goes out. Plus, we oddly enough have a storm going on. So, hey, Virginia Bushcrafter, thank you for coming. I'm just waiting for a couple people to come in. If I lose power because we really do have a storm going on, I'm very, very sorry. I'm going to try to get through it, but so far today it's been good, and we've had this storm pretty much all day. Actually, pretty much all week, to be honest. Vision, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's been kind of a long week. Couple of things happened this week, but all positive outcomes. Please be careful driving in the storm. Watch out for flooding because there's a whole lot of rain. Okay, so I don't know if you all have seen a couple weeks ago, Vision Preparedness actually put a video out in regards to rolling blackouts where he lives. And if you've not seen that, I actually suggest you go watch that video. I know that a lot of you watch me from Europe, so I don't know if what is happening here is also happening there. But here in the US, we have had some super severe storms that have knocked out our power, either because of lightning or massive winds that are knocking down trees and flipping over trucks. And it's been very, very dangerous, just all over the US, to be honest, mostly the East Coast and the Midwest. But it's been pretty severe. So we've also had some issues with, we're hearing news here locally in the United States that power prices for electricity and gas are actually going up. And this is true. A lot of places are increasing in price with the economy. So people are not able to pay their bills. So they're having to choose between a roof over their head, or heat, or food, or gas, or whatever it may be. And if you had a choice between the electric in your house or your house, you're probably going to choose your house and try to deal with not having the electric or the gas to heat the house. So there are ways that you can make do if you end up not being able to have these things for one reason or another. And I want to teach you a very simple way to not freeze to death. And of course, this is last ditch effort to try to keep the chill out of the air. But the best thing for you to do is really get a propane heater, or if you have a generator, like a space heater in a small room, that would be your best bet. But if you can't afford those things, or they're not available for you to find, because I know a lot of things out there are hard to find, they're off the shelves, they're out of stock, you can actually buy some miscellaneous things and make your own. And what I'm going to show you is not, I'm telling you, it is not going to heat up a whole house. Please do not try. Do not say I told you it would heat up a whole house, because it will not. But it can heat up a small room. And if you're going without power like they did in Texas last year, then even to heat up a walk-in closet to not freeze to death would be ideal. So I've actually made a couple of these myself. These are little heaters that are so simple to make, and it's really stuff that you can buy at the store on Amazon for next to nothing. Hi, Hippy Dippy. How are you? So a lot of us in areas where we prepare for storms or hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, whatever, rolling blackouts, we usually buy stock in, I shouldn't say stock, we buy jars. We jar a lot of our own stuff, whether it be fruits, vegetables, meats. We jar a lot of things because if the power goes out and your freezer has no power or your fridge has no power, you don't want to lose all those things. So to be able to can a lot of your food and make it shelf stable is really the best option as long as you have the space to store it. But if you have extra jars that you can spare, ooh, look at that, I can make it disappear. Sorry, that was pretty funny. All you have to do is go buy a big can of Crisco and or the store brand Crisco. And what you want to do is melt that can down. I prefer to actually put my jars in warm water on the stove, and then I just take the spatula and put it in so it goes in evenly without the bubbles. And one big jar of or can of Crisco actually filled 4 of my quart-sized jars. And once it's all filled, before it sets, I actually sprinkle salt on the top because it makes it melt slower, so it will last longer, and it's just more efficient. The other thing that I suggest is if you're going to buy, some people go to the dollar store and they buy the tapered candles. I actually suggest that you get the beeswax candles because they have a higher melting point, so they burn way, way slower. Plus, they make less smoke when they're burning. And you let your Crisco actually set in the jar. I just put it on the counter, take it out of the water, and let it set for as long as it needs to set and harden. I guess it's more like a pudding, hard pudding, I guess, when it's done. And you just take one of your beeswax candles and just put it right. Really, it's best to have 2 in there. This particular one that I grabbed has 1. But you want to just put it down there all the way to the bottom. And that's pretty much it for your candle. So even if you need light in the summer when the power goes out, you have a light source that will last a long, long time. This candle can actually burn 60 to 72 days, 8 hours a day, just this one jar. So it's a good, cheap way to have a light source that lasts much, much longer than your dollar store candles. And it's small enough that it can be portable. And then I also have it's literally, oh, it's not going to show. It's literally just a kitchen utensil holder. That's all this is. And you can get them at, these were given to me as a gift, but you can get them on Amazon and they're not expensive at all. And this right here, if you put your candle in there to set it, hi TZ, nice to see you, hon. If you put your candle in here to set it, it also, maybe the green screen wasn't a good idea. Here, there. It helps hold it more sturdy so that you're not going to knock over your candle as easily to start a fire. So I suggest putting it in some sort of wider container for safety reasons and also for mobility reasons if you actually use this for a heater, which I'll show you how to in just a second. But these items together are probably less than $10 just for this, for a couple of them. And it lasts a long time. So the last bit that you would get, and I hope my green screen lets me do this, is just a cheap little clay pot that you would put plants in. It's almost equivalent to the terracotta stoves where they're made out of clay and they just radiate heat as they get warm. So you want to make sure that your your pot is big enough to go over whatever container you put your candle in. You sit back. And yay, okay, disappearing act. Oh, okay. So when you have it up on the stand and your candle in there, so it heats up the pot and radiates the heat better than any single candle would. And the holes in this utensil holder lets the candle breathe to stay lit. Plus, having it in this holder, as I said, it's more mobile if you want to move the heater from one room to another, or just move it from one area to another, say a desk to a table or whatever. This is really the best way to do it so that you don't accidentally drop it, accidentally burn yourself, whatever. But this is not going to heat up a whole room. As I said, most rooms are on average 200 square feet. Yep, TZ, and they work very well. They work very well. Most average rooms are 200 square feet. And really, if you're going to try to heat up a small room, if there's windows, you want to make sure that you have insulated windows of some sort. And you can insulate them yourself. And what I mean by that is put a curtain over your window. That helps insulate and not let the cold air come in. And they also have in the home improvement stores, we used to get these every year to save on our electric bill, but they're shrink wrap plastic that you can actually put over your windows. And then you take a blow dryer to it and it tightens it up nice and snug to where it traps that cold air in between the window and the plastic. I would not use it in a vehicle if you're driving. I would not suggest that for safety reasons. I mean, if you're parked or if you have a trailer that you've converted, you could probably use it, but I wouldn't fall asleep while it's lit. That would be very dangerous. I wouldn't suggest that. You would have a good chance of losing your car too. But definitely insulate your windows, even if it's with a plastic wrap or with a curtain, to keep that cold air from coming in, and heat up a small room just to keep that cold chill out. That's really what I wanted to share with you guys today, because we're going to go into some very harsh times here soon. I strongly believe it, with the cost of everything going up to including living expenses. And just all the major storms we've had. We've had some incredible weather over this last year or two that has been somewhat abnormal for a lot of places. So it's good to have some things on hand to prepare for a storm or rolling blackouts, which our news here in the United States has already told us rolling blackouts are coming nationwide. We just don't know when, and they have already started in some of our states. It just hasn't happened across all of our states. So you have to be prepared for these things. And in the summer right now, I'm actually going to share this, even though I told you all how to make an emergency heater. I'm going to share in the summer in a way to keep your house cooler is if you live in a brick house, and a lot of people don't realize this, if you live in a brick house, if you spray your house down with water, those bricks absorb the water. And as it evaporates, it pulls a lot of that heat out of the brick, which will actually cool your house down. Now, if you don't have a brick house and you live somewhere where there's plastic siding or like a trailer or a modular, your HOA is not going to be happy about this. But if you're truly trying to save money or keep the house cool because your AC is not running, the power's out, and you don't know when it's going to come back on, and it's blazing hot like an oven in your house, if you put foil up on your windows, it actually reflects the sunlight, which will drop the temperature in your house a lot. And it doesn't look pretty, and your neighbors may not be happy, but it keeps your house way, way cooler. Same thing if you live in Florida or in a hurricane zone. If you put your shutters up on the windows, it will drop your temperature of your house a lot, and it will keep you cool. And it sounds terrible. And like I said, your HOA may complain if you have an HOA, or your neighbors may complain if you have neighbors, but you're not trying to please them in a SHTF or in all the rolling blackouts and so forth. You're trying to stay alive, keep cool, not overheat. You don't want to pass out from heat exhaustion or heat stroke and nobody finds you and you're just not there anymore. So it doesn't matter what they say. You're doing what's best for you and your family to get through these hard times. Those are the only two really examples I have to stay cool. You can also, for the heaters, if you don't want to, if you want to put it somewhere where you're not going to move it and you can't find the clay pots, because I know I had a hard time finding clay pots for a while, you can actually go and buy just the bricks, the regular bricks that you would put out in your yard as stepping stones or whatever, and stack them up and then put 2 good sized bricks over the candle, and those 2 bricks on top will actually work as your clay pot as well. And of course, the bigger the room, the more candles you want that you've made. Not house candles. Don't use house candles, but the ones that you've made, because they burn longer and hotter. The more candles you have, the warmer your room will get. So let me go back and see if there's any questions and say hi to some people. And if you have any more questions, please ask. And I will do my best to answer. I said hi to Marco. I said hi to Brian. Be ready. I said hi to Vision. I said hi to Hippy Dippy and TZ. Bushcraft. Teresa, have you had to use the heaters when you were camping? I know you said you brought them when you went camping, but have you actually used them camping? Oh, another thing I want to add is if you do use them and you have them lit for a while, do not touch those clay pots with your bare hands because you will get burned. They get very, very hot. And I know I shouldn't have to say that, but I'm saying it anyway because there are people that aren't thinking that it would get hot at all. Let's see. Marco, I already answered your question. Yes. So actually, Vision, I wanted to get back to that comment I posted too. What I personally would do if the electric went out in this house, I would actually go into the walk-in closet. It's a small enough area to where it would heat up. There are no windows for any air to leak in or heat to leak out. And it's big enough for more than one of us. So walk-in closets, bathrooms, even though you don't want to hang out in the bathroom, if you're just going in there to warm up, go in there and warm up and come back out. Or if you just don't want to sit on a cold toilet seat, I mean, that's okay too. I certainly don't like to, and I'm sure no girl likes to. Yeah, I definitely don't want to sit on a cold toilet seat. I might have to make some more candles just for that. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm just scrolling through comments. Yes. Actually, TZ, that's true. True story. This house that we live in, I have a big Tinkerbell reflector, windshield reflector in one of my windows. And it is actually not to be cute or not to be pretty. It's because I came home from work and realized that my plastic blinds were turning brown like something was burning them. And it was just one spot on the blinds. And so I went into that room and I thought, well, maybe it's dirty in that one spot. I don't know. It was weird. So I tried to wash it off and I realized it was burned. So I flipped the blinds the other way to see if maybe it was just always like that. And I never noticed it. And the opposite sides of the blinds the next week started doing the same thing. What I realized was over time, my neighbor across the street, their window has warped to where it reflects the sunlight perfectly at that area of my blinds, and it's like a magnifying glass. So my neighbor's window, because of how it's warped, was actually could have started my house on fire, honestly. So I have put a Tinkerbell windshield reflector in that window to keep from the window across the street from burning my house down. So that's true. The window the reflectors, the window reflectors are actually much prettier, and they really do work for whatever reason, whether it to be to keep the heat out or to keep your house from burning down from the neighbor's window. Dyson, hey hon. I am happy to see you here too. That's so awesome. Yes. So Vision, if you can actually make a larger, and well, if you're doing it in the house, yeah, don't put wood in it unless you're going to build around it, but then you need to have a vent. But yeah, if you even want to build a larger one and put a couple candles in there to, you know, make it even hotter, you could. It would probably warm up a larger size room. Yep. Yeah. TZ said, yeah, they got very hot. Yep, they sure do. And you can actually use them in a tent too if you go camping. But again, don't fall asleep with it, and make sure you have it in something that will keep it from knocking over. It's just like any other candle. Don't leave it alone. Don't leave it unattended by any means, especially around kids. And make sure you have it in a way where it's not going to easily get knocked over. Don't put it close to curtains. I mean, the common sense stuff. I shouldn't have to tell adults, but if any children are watching, don't play with fire either. Let's see. Vision said guys don't like sitting on cold toilets either. I've actually seen people put socks. Well, I haven't personally seen people put socks over toilet seats, but I've watched videos of people actually doing this, and I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, yeah, so TZ did use it in a tent. Did you put it in something so that it wasn't going to knock over, or did you just stay with it to make sure that it stayed put? Thank you, Be Ready. I appreciate that. Let's see. Sorry, guys, bear with me. I just got an emergency weather alert. It's making my phone buzz on the desk, so I'm sorry if you heard that vibration. Vision, do you want to come up here and talk about your rolling blackouts that happened there and how it affected people there? For anyone that hasn't seen that video and comes back and watches it, especially people from Europe that aren't aware of what's going on here. Since you're in a different area, we haven't really had the rolling blackouts here yet, but I know that up in your area, you have, and your power actually there around you got shut off by your officials. I don't know if you want to share that, talk about that, and how the community kind of came together and so forth to help each other. TZ, are you guys having rolling blackouts there or massive weird storms where you're at? And Dyson, I forgot where you're located as well. I think you're overseas, aren't you? Or are you local? I always think you're overseas. Okay, Utah. You have not had rolling blackouts. Have you had any of the crazy electrical storms, Dyson? Like the massive lightning storms that are super intense? Because here we get them every year, but last year and this year they have been really, really intense, scary intense. Really? Okay. Okay. So Utah, yes, and Kansas, Oklahoma, I believe, has not. Be ready. I know you've had some massive storms as well go over you, because I've been talking to you when the power's been knocked out. And same thing with Vision. He's had his power knocked out. I don't know about the rolling blackouts very much, but I think Vision can probably talk about it a little bit better than I can because they've had a little bit of that up there. Major windstorms as well with no rain. Yes. It's been almost like years ago, I used to live in Colorado, and we would have pop-up twisters, and it would literally come down, knock out a building or flip over a few cars and go back up. And that kind of stopped for a while. And now it seems like they're starting to surface again, but they're surfacing in areas that they're not common at, which is very strange. Yes, TZ, I have a few of them that I have put together just in case. And we're not one here to get cold winters. But it does get chilly in the evenings, even though we don't get the snow. We're used to, like this week, we've had 100-degree, between 85 and 100-degree roughly weather, plus our humidity of 60+%. So it gets really, really hot here. That's what we're kind of used to. So when it drops down to the 30s and 40s after a 90-day high, it gets cold because it's a huge difference in a temperature drop. But yeah, I definitely have a few of them ready. And I have to admit, I have foil in some of my windows. And I have the one Tinkerbell reflector in the one window, but that's to prevent fire. But the foil is actually to keep certain rooms from getting super, super hot. And it works very well. It is tacky as ever, but it works really well. If you don't have the money to go buy the reflectors, like TZ was saying, they have really pretty ones. And they actually have ones that are self-adhesive now that you can put on your windows that have different designs, or you can see out, but you can't see in. And those are really cool too. If you have the money to go buy those, I would actually suggest those. But if you don't, I mean, if you have what you have in your house at the time it happens, and now you know what you have on hand, normally in your pantry anyway, that you can use, or in your garage anyway, that you can use to either cool down or to warm up. I don't know. I might have to wear one for a couple days. Be ready to see. Hopefully, no aliens will be trying to talk to me though, because I won't have anything nice to say to them for sure. At all. I live without air on half my house. The rest, the reflective stuff works. It does. So do you have the dual AC, like one upstairs, one downstairs? That's how ours is. And I will, when it's winter, I will actually shut off the heat upstairs and turn it on downstairs, because heat rises, and then I only have to pay to heat one floor, and it naturally rises to the second floor. Not that I'm cheap. I want to save money where I can, because Lord knows we don't know how long we're going to have jobs, or how long we're going to be able to afford our bills, especially right now in the last couple years. There we go. All right. I'm going to add Vision, and he can talk about his rolling blackouts that happened there where they shut the power off, and how the community came together. So,
Good evening. Hello, how are you?
Talk about the government officials shutting down electricity, the news can put stuff happened there.
Exactly. Can you guys hear me?
I can, but I'm not sure. You know, I have that big speaker, so I can
Can you guys in the chat hear me?
one.
Hope so. Okay, good. Okay, great. Thanks, Be Ready. So what happened here? I'm in Ohio, and I'd say about a month ago, we had some storms rolled through that knocked out several transmission stations in the city. And as those power stations went down, it was putting a strain on the grid. So American Electric and Power literally started turning off people's electricity throughout the city and the suburbs in their servicing area without telling anybody. The city was in an uproar. The mayor was beside himself. The governor was upset. Um, Everything. So what happened was after the blackouts lasted, some people were without power for like 4 days. And so the Public Utility Commission told American Electric Power, you will attend a public hearing and explain yourself why you turned off people's electricity and did not warn anybody. I mean, it affected some of my family members as well as friends, but it didn't affect me because I'm in the middle of nowhere and, you know, I'm a prepper. So we prep and we're prepared for that kind of stuff. So anyway, yesterday they had the meeting and I was actually at work and I was watching it on YouTube. And they were explaining they had during the storms, they had 11 transmission stations go down. And this is within a 24-hour period. So after the 11 went down, 7 more went down. And after, I think it was, they said it was after the 8th one went down, they had no choice but to start turning off people's power so that the grid literally would not crash. So they explained it with all these graphs and charts and, you know, they did their magic to basically tell them, you know, we don't have to tell anybody nothing. We're American Electric Power. We're the second largest power company in the country. So anyway, the chairman of the PUCO, after they got done explaining and they asked questions and everything, the chairman said to the spokesperson from American Electric Power, he said, now, let me explain, let me ask you a question, and to make sure I got this right. He said, 80% of the power outage that happened was due to the fact that American Electric and Power started turning off people's electricity, correct? And he said, yes, sir, that's right. And he said, that is not acceptable. And then the commission started talking about American Electric Power being liable to pay for people who lost food in their refrigerators and freezers and all of that, as well as crediting the customers for the power outage. I don't know what the ruling was, but it was not good. And the commission actually was on the side of the citizens and of the city, because as we all know, price of electricity is going up. So I was actually pretty pleased with the fact that that's what the commission said. They said they were going to give a ruling in about another month. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, they also asked them the question, why was your infrastructure so sensitive? So basically they were asking them, why haven't you upgraded your equipment, without flat out asking them? And they danced around it and showed pictures of trees that took down lines and transformers and power stations. And the one lady that's on the commission, she shook her head and you could hear her say, that's unacceptable. You guys need to be held accountable. And she wasn't talking to the committee. She was just speaking to the other commissioner next to her. But I thought that was pretty interesting. But and I did a short on that like that morning, as soon as I heard it on the news coming to work, and it was insane because myself and a group of people, we have been talking about that when the president or whoever, somebody said that there's going to be rolling blackouts across the country, and we were the first state to do that. So
Yeah, and part of the problem is a lot of people don't realize is a lot of the items that are used to repair the electric lines and the transistor boxes and so forth are imported in, and
mm-hmm.
we aren't getting a lot of those imports in. So when it does come to the point where a lot of our states, our power does go out, and it strains other parts of the state because it's trying to pull that electricity, they're also going to go out, and we're not going to be able to get those parts right away to fix them. So we have been
Right,
lucky to have our electric only go out for an hour, 2 hours, or maybe a day or 2 days, but it's going to come to a point where it's going to go out and they're going to tell you we cannot get the parts or we cannot get the workers to come and fix it for you
right,
because half of America doesn't want to work right now, which I don't really
exactly.
understand. Or
Oh,
they're just not skilled in order to fix things correctly. So
right,
it is going to come soon where the power is going to go out, and it's going to be for a long time. And we don't know if it's going to happen in the summer or if it's going to happen in the winter. But either way, we really need to get out there and get that knowledge and learn things to be able to survive whenever it does come.
that's
Whenever
true.
it may come.
And the thing about the big transformers that go into big power stations, there's only one country in the world that makes those transformers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's China. And it takes them 2 years to make one transformer.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane that we make nothing in the United States anymore. And to me, I don't see how you can let that happen and go from that. Aqua Adventurer, my man, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah, that's we have to prepare to have alternate sources to heat our house, to cook our food, to do laundry, and so forth and so on. I was talking with Mother Sparks the other night. I have a bad feeling about this coming winter, and it's not going to be good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So on a side note, since Aqua's in here, I just want to say,
Okay.
look, I'm figuring out my green screen and my eyes didn't disappear. I still have eyes. See, I'm learning. I just had to point that out because they were laughing at me because when I was trying to set up my green screen before, my eyes disappeared and I look like an android.
Are you?
No. Oh,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely find ways to stay warm. And it's not just heating sources like that, guys. Wait, let me drink my tea or I'm going to forget. If you can go to the thrift stores or Goodwill,
Yes.
get yourself blankets, sleeping
Yes.
bags,
Yes.
comforters,
Yes.
um, hoodies, like so you
Yes.
can layer up if you need to.
Yes.
You can always wash them now while you have power if you don't feel comfortable buying secondhand, but you want those things in case you can't find them later or you can't afford them later.
Right. And those of you that have fireplaces and wood burning stoves, get your wood now.
Mm-hmm.
Get it now. I don't care if you have to go out in your backyard and cut down a tree. Get your wood. You have to, especially if you have a family and kids and all of that, you have to have an alternative source
Mm-hmm.
to heat your house. I say have a, well, as we all say, have a backup to your backup.
Mm-hmm.
And, because hypothermia can set in pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
there's no shame in my game walking around the house in a hoodie and socks. And it takes a lot for me to get cold, but as everybody else, I have alternative sources to heat my house. But layer up on clothes, folks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can, in the summer, you can take everything off and walk around the house naked if you want to. But in the winter, if you don't have the clothes to pile on, you're going to be hurting. Or the blankets to wrap up in, you're
That's
going to
right.
be hurting.
That's
They don't
right.
have to be excellent quality. Uh,
Mm-mm.
I don't even know the fancy
Name
brands of
brand don't have to be
blankets.
name
Yeah.
brand. Don't have to be 1800 Egyptian cotton. Just no.
No, no.
Go get what you need to keep you warm. Worst case, worst, I'm throwing on my Carhartts, and I'm gonna be happy.
Yep. Aqua, I know from what Runny said,
Mhm.
you all haven't really heard of preppers there in Europe, or at least Runny hadn't.
Right.
Do you have people there that I don't even know if you all have the rolling blackouts and everything like we do. Do you have people there that prepare for even massive natural disasters, or I'm gonna say it, corrupt government doing some shady stuff? Are
That's
there
all over
people
the
there that
world.
actually prepare for things like that, like we do here in America, or is that more of an American thing that you know of? I'm just curious because I'm finding a lot of people overseas have never heard of a prepper,
Right.
um, or never heard of some of our terms that we use, like SHTF. That's not
Right.
something that's really used outside of the United States, but it's a term used heavily here in the
Hmm.
United States.
Yes. Yeah. But it's good to see you, Aqua. I heard you've been talking about me. All good, but you know, I'm glad that it's out there. And if you hang around, you'll see what we do in the United States to prep because
We have
we
to.
we have to. That's what we do.
Hmm.
That's
And
the name of the game.
Aqua said, no, nothing major happens there. So I wonder if, like Aqua, for instance, if you or the people in the other group that we talk to, you know who I'm talking about, are you all aware of all the chaos going on in the United States right now with our gas prices increasing ridiculous, and um, the food prices going up
Hmm.
anywhere from 40% to 200%,
Yes.
and our utility costs going up, most of
Yep.
them 30%, um,
Gas.
and the riots and all the small businesses shutting down. I don't know if you're aware that all of that is going on here in the US, because I know our news here only tells us what they want us to hear. So a lot of the stuff that happens overseas, if we don't go look for it, we don't know what's going on. So I would
Right.
assume that that is the same thing there, where if you don't go look for it or you don't hear it from somebody else, you don't know what um, are going on in this country. Okay,
Hmm.
so gas there and living costs are high, are sky high too. So did they just this year increase massively like we did? And yes, Dyson, cost of food is absolutely ridiculous. Not to
Oh
mention
Lord.
the sizes of containers are going smaller.
Shrinkflation.
Yep,
Shrinkflation is real.
2 pounds for a liter of gas. Okay, so
Wow.
I
Hey.
think, aren't you? I think your pounds are close to our dollar, if I remember right.
Yes, they are.
So 2 liters to a
Take care, TZ. Be safe. Glad you stopped by.
Okay.
Double.
So
Oof.
bye, TZ. Thank you for coming by, hon, and I appreciate your input um, that you shared. So 2 liters um, is equivalent to roughly a half of a gallon
Half a gallon. Yeah.
US. So our prices here. So you're about too tired to do math.
Twice the price.
Twice the price.
Yeah. So if we're paying, $5 a gallon, what's the pound equivalent to the dollar? Yeah. Yeah. 1 pound equals $1.30, Aqua said.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
our gas is
they're
actually a
about
little bit higher.
yeah, they're higher. Their gas is higher than ours.
No, not for 2 liters is a half a gallon.
Correct.
So that would be 4 liters for them, which would be how much is your gas per liter?
A dollar
Two?
30, $1.36 a
So eight.
pound.
So that would
Yeah,
be 8 pounds would be $10 equivalent to us for a gallon.
yeah,
So yeah, actually yours is more
yeah.
expensive.
Their gas is double. Is double ours. That's crazy. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I think it's all being methodically done on purpose. Eight
Yeah.
pounds, 8 pounds a gallon,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
is $8 a gallon, $8+ a gallon. Yeah, closer to 10. That's
Yep.
insane. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And we just jumped up recently, although now it's starting to come back down again, but they're adding
Yeah.
additives to kind of water it down. So it really isn't
Ethanol. Yep.
it really isn't cheaper.
Exactly.
It's just burning faster and shady. It's just
Yeah,
shady.
it's making it's wearing out the engines in the vehicles.
Yes, that too. Wear and
Yes.
tear for sure. It's yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Aqua said gas prices there are mental. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, I've been listening to a lot of people talking about their rent going up. The rents are going up to 2 times to 3 times the normal price. So someone who's paying $500 a month, they're now having the rent increase to $1,300 a month,
Yeah.
and people are not going to be able to afford that. They're just not.
Right. Right.
Um,
That's
People weren't
that's
expecting this.
insane.
I
Yeah.
mean, some people were, but most people weren't expecting it to get this bad.
Yeah. So that heater you made, what
Mhm.
how much would you say all of that all together would cost somebody to make?
Well, my holder was free because it was a gift.
Okay. So those are like I actually have one of those and I'm trying to remember what I paid for it. And it's not expensive. You're right.
No, I want to say for 4 of them, it was right around $25.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, you buy the jars and cases, so
Quart
you don't buy
jars.
those
Right.
by
Right.
themselves. And
Right.
then the Crisco, when I bought the big cans of Crisco before the prices went up, I got um, the big can for almost $3.
Right.
And one big can will fill 4 of these.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
Look at Lowrider's comment. He's down there in Louisiana. Yeah, so that's not bad. So we're saying it's like what, maybe $10 to make one?
maybe, yeah, right around there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, probably right around there with the price increases.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you don't have to
Nice.
have the expensive clay pots. Just get the cheap ones or
Right.
get clearance ones. As long as they're the clay pots, doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. Lowrider.
Here in
They're in
Louisiana, we
Louisiana.
deal with hurricanes all the time. I have 2 generators, and my wife and kids now know how to shoot, and the boys know how to hunt. That's awesome.
Perfect. High five, Lowrider. That's exactly right. Good.
Yep, that's great.
Yes.
You should definitely teach the family how to defend and survive
Yes. And protect.
by getting food.
Absolutely.
The thing I worry about with the generators, though, is not only the price of gas. I'm sure if you're that prepared, it's probably a dual fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Is not being able to find and or afford gas or
Mm-hmm.
propane,
Or
and that's
propane.
what I worry about.
Yeah. So that's my gas source is propane, and um, in the summertime I don't use it because everything in the house is electric. So I think I have a 500-gallon propane tank, which I'm getting switched out to 1,000 gallon, and I heat my house with wood in the winter. So my propane becomes my backup heating source, as well as some other stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Trent, you are 8 minutes to your live.
Oh
If you want
Lord.
to jump over there and get set up,
Yes.
and
Okay.
I can finish answering these last few questions,
Okay.
and I will see you over there.
Aqua, come by. You're gonna learn some more stuff, dude. You're gonna see what prepping in the U.S. is all about. Please stop by if you can, and anybody else that wants to. Thank you for
It's
having me, Kristen.
it's 2:30 in the morning where Aqua is.
Oh, you the man, Aqua. You the man. I appreciate you. You are the man. You definitely are the man. How to survive and tuck in the same. Absolutely. Way to go, lowrider. Thank you, my mother Sparks, for having me jump on here with you. You know, I'm always I got your six always. So anything you
Thanks for
need,
sharing that info on the blackouts because we haven't had those
absolutely.
yet here, so it's better to hear it from the horse's mouth than to just assume.
Yes. And just keep preparing, folks. Don't stop.
Hmm.
Stack to the rafters.
Hmm.
Thank you, my mother Sparks, and I'll see you shortly.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye bye.
Yep. So Dyson, I saw your comment with the property taxes going up. I've heard about property taxes going up as well. And I didn't actually even think about lot rents, but that would make sense. If rent is going up and property taxes are going up, lot rents are definitely going up as well. 7 pounds a day for electric. So if your pounds are equivalent by $1.30 something to our dollar, I actually pay the same in electric, um, the equivalent per day here at my house. Um, so it's kind of hard though because I don't run TVs and stuff all the time. Um, so it blows me away that my electric is so expensive because I do everything I can to cut down on the costs. Bring a Navy vet. I know how to I'm assuming it means being a Navy vet. I know how to survive and taught them the same, and that's good. A lot of skills are lost with our younger generation, so we need to teach the younger generations what we learned from our older generations, so that they can keep surviving after we're gone. Okay, thank you, Aqua. I'm going to be able to change it often now, but I thought this was appropriate with the electric going out. So Brian has dropped Vision Preparedness's link. He is going live here in about 5 minutes. And if you all can manage to stay up or you want to learn more about prepping, he is going to go into more detail. Mine was more specific about heating. Well, it's supposed to be just about a heater, but we're in the summer, so I wanted to share the cooling methods as well. But definitely, if you want to learn more, or if you feel like you have holes that you're not sure where to fill, definitely jump over there because he is actually covering filling your holes. And I don't mean like in the wall. So definitely jump over. Brian's got the link, and I am going to jump over there myself. I truly want to thank all of you so much for being here, especially the ones that are here at 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, Aqua, it was awesome. I thought you were going to fall asleep. So I'm grateful that you came in and chatted and shared the information from over where you are over the oceans, because we don't get to hear a lot of that information from over there unless we hear it straight from people that are there. So I'm grateful for that. Same thing with TZ here earlier, and Lowrider and Dyson. I appreciate all the information that you guys share with me because you being in the United States realize that we don't hear everything we need to hear. I don't have to tell you all. You already know that. But I want to thank you for being here Thursday night. And I will be here I will be here next Thursday night, but I may between now and then have a last minute pop up live just to have some fun and decompress a little bit. So look out for that. It will be very, very soon. So, saying that, I want to wish you all a good night and God bless everyone. Stay prepared, stay focused, know that God's got this, and keep your faith. Saying that, I'm going over to vision preparedness. Thank you all so much. Good night.